Welcome back to my channel. I'm James, and today we've got another exclusive review that you're only going to find here on my YouTube channel. So today with this special review, we're going to deep dive into 21 Bridges on 4K Ultra HD and Blu-ray. Now, this one's really special because this is actually the only release of 21 Bridges that was completely released physically on 4K Ultra HD. Now, the Blu-ray was released worldwide before, but this includes the Blu-ray and the 4K. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to dive into this. I'm going to tell you the specs on it. I'm going to go into it and give you my movie review, and I'm going to do my exclusive 4K versus the Blu-ray image comparison, so that way you can see what the difference is between this 4K versus the Blu-ray if you already own it, or if you don't own it, if this is something you're going to want to pick up and either upgrade to from that Blu-ray or get and watch if this is something that you might enjoy. And I'll dive into it and tell you what my movie thoughts are on this as well. And then as always, I'm going to wrap it up at the end with my total review score. That always gives you an idea, if you've watched the channel for a while, of what the quality of this is, how this compares to all the hundreds of other 4K titles I've reviewed before, and tells you where this kind of falls and if this is something you should spend your money on. So we've got a lot of exciting content to dive into on this. Now, we're going to start off here with my exclusive 4K versus Blu-ray image comparison. So I'm going to show you up here the original Blu-ray screenshot first. That's the Blu-ray that was basically released worldwide by Universal, and that's the standard Blu-ray that came out. Now, this 4K was released around the same time, but as a lot of you know, a lot of these are hidden releases. 4K seem to be a lot of boutique titles that are released all around the world. Well, that's something I exclusively do here on this channel, is I test all of these. I check to see if they're region locked, region free, which we'll get to later on as well. So if you're not subscribed yet, you're going to want to go down there and make sure to hit that subscribe button and the bell notification, so you never miss out about finding out about any of these hidden or unknown titles or releases. Now, I'm going to show you the 4K title up here that you're going to see the screenshot comparison of. First thing you're going to notice right off the bat is that this has a lot more clarity, depth to the image. You can see much more skin tones. The big thing I noticed between this is the fact of that the Blu-ray looked good before, but this takes it to a whole nother level. With the HDR10 implementation on this title, it adds so much more color variances, lights to darks with the contrast differences, and especially because most of this movie takes place at night in New York City, there's so many lights and vibrant neon colors and like the police officers' cars with the flashing lights. The HDR on this shines through brilliantly and really added a whole new element to this film that really made it look just outstanding. Now, for those of you that have the digital version, there was a digital version of this released on 4K that was only digital. I will tell you, this still outshines that by far. The compression on the digital version was pretty darn bad. This does not have those compression issues. This also has the upgraded audio that the digital version did not. So this has the DTS HD Master Audio in English 5.1 mix, whereas the digital version that was released worldwide only had the Dolby Digital 5.1, which had heavy compression issues. So this has the best audio mix available for this movie as well. Now, while I'm going through and showing you those screenshot comparisons and talking to you about that, as always, I will have this linked down in the description section below. There will be an Amazon link. You click on that, it takes you straight out to Amazon. I've made it nice and easy for you. This is very hard to find and took me a long time to locate, but I've done all the work for you, and that link is listed in the description section right below, as well as a pinned comment in the comment section below, that when you click on that, it takes you straight out to Amazon. You don't have to pay import fees or anything like that. It ships it straight to your home. So I did put that down there and did the work for all of you. So make sure if you're going to pick this up after you watch this review, to go down to one of those links, click on it, takes you out there so you can pick up your copy. Now, talking about the 4K image you're seeing above, the 4K has drastically increased overall sharpness to it, and quite a sharp uptick in clarity to the image as well over that previous Blu-ray image you're seeing there. And that's due to a lot of the ways that they filmed it, and then that they basically released it on 4K, that the Blu-ray simply had limitations because of it being 1080p to begin with. Now, how they filmed this is kind of a unique story. Basically, they filmed it in 3.4K digital, and then they did some post-production, basically grain, that they added to it as well. Then they took that 3.4K digital and mastered it into 2K. Then they upscaled that 2K image with the post-production grain that they added into a 4K image. So it's Kind of a weird way that they did it, but overall it turned out to be a great looking image. Now, talking about the grain that's in this, the grain structure is very stable in this, and what they did, which I did appreciate, is kind of what they similarly did with Dune, but Dune did it a different way by transferring it to film and then transferring it back to digital. In this, they did the post-production basically grain. The grain is very stable in it. It's not heavy, but it does add that filmic look to it that makes it look great. And on this 4K image, it didn't have any blocking issues, didn't have any instabilities, there was no fluctuations. Overall, the grain structure through the whole thing was stable, very nicely done, while adding to the sharpness and detail of the image overall. And that's where this really shined above the Blu-ray as well. As you probably noticed in that Blu-ray image comparison above, the Blu-ray is a little bit more waxy appearance. It's a softer image overall, has a more waxy appearance overall, does not have nearly as much detail to their faces, their hair. I mean, Chadwick Boseman, who's great in this film, and this was one of his final performances before he passed away. And they had talked about doing sequels to this because of how well it was received and how well of a story and just his character is in it overall. And I really loved his character in this. He has such a great, just overall, like, knight in shining armor. He's going to stand for what's right and justice. And I'll get to that later on about my thoughts about the movie. But overall, his character in this, when he's running down the streets chasing the criminals and he's sweating, there's some close-up shots that you can see the sweat on his face so clearly in detail that it really just added the element of realism to the film that on the Blu-ray, you really couldn't notice as well. It kind of just looked like a glistening over his face. You couldn't see the detail and depth to it nearly as much as you could in this 4K. So for a 2K upscale, it really does look good. So this is a full 4K 2160p image, and it does have HDR10 for the HDR on it, and it does add a lot of depth to it, especially with the neon colors. Holy cow, the difference between the Blu-ray and this really did shine through. Though as you're seeing above, remember, this is just standard HDR. So, because of YouTube's algorithm, they don't allow anything above standard HDR. So those images you see of this 4K will look drastically better on your home TV with HDR10. And the drastic varying shades between the lights to the darks, and then with the colors of like the flashing of the police sirens and the police lights going off, really does just come through great with that HDR10 representation. Now, if you enjoy these 4K versus Blu-ray image comparisons and all this exclusive content that I create here on my YouTube channel, just like this review, this is the only channel you're going to find this review on because I go out there and find all these hidden and exclusive titles and do these special exclusive 4K versus Blu-ray image comparisons where I pull the data off of the discs and off of the Blu-rays to give you the best image presentation that you can get to get you an idea if this is something you're going to want to buy or upgrade to. Well, if you enjoy this content, make sure to give a super thanks down below. It's basically like giving a tip to this channel to help me to be able to afford to keep doing all of this, paying for the software that I constantly have to pay for, to provide you all of these special 4K versus Blu-ray image comparisons. So make sure if you enjoy this content to give a super thanks down below. I can only keep providing you all of this content through the support of all of you viewers and subscribers that watch my videos. So make sure if you enjoy these and you enjoy the hard work that I put into these, make sure to go down and give a super thanks on these videos. That's how I afford to keep providing you all this content for all of you to watch. I don't have Patreon. How I do it is through all the support of all of you. Also, don't forget to give this video a like and a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button and that bell notification. That way you always get notified about all of this exclusive content. Now, this does retain its original aspect ratio of 2.39 to 1. They didn't mess with it at all, both on the 4K and the Blu-ray. And a runtime on this is 99 minutes. And that adds to why this is such a slick action thriller, I call it, that just really has a great pace. There's no slow parts in it. There's no parts that I felt needed cut out for pacing. It really is a well done and just has such a great storyline of standing up for what's right no matter what it costs you and doing what's right. And that's where Chadwick Boseman's character is really well fleshed out. I love the beginning intro and how it just kind of shows you how that shaped his character. And a lot of like cop and criminal dramas, a lot of the times miss out on that. They kind of show you, hey, here's a hardened cop that basically is searching down criminals, but they don't show you why he's that way or what formed his decisions or changed his overall lifestyle that caused that to be. This does a great job with the intros. I especially love the part at the beginning where the police officers are saluting with the white gloves when there's a fallen police officer, and it's so well done and kind of just harkens to today, some of the things that are going on in our society. If you've paid attention to the news and you've seen the police officers still do that in New York when a police officer falls, and it just really harkens to that, and I felt like was such a great just semblance of standing up for justice and right and honor And overall, the film itself is so enjoyable. I think Sienna Miller in it has a great turn in it. There's some twists and turns I won't give away if you haven't seen it yet, though I do think some of them you could kind of see coming. But overall, it just was so enjoyable and such a great film that this is my second time watching it. I really did enjoy it and thought the 4K added so much more to this presentation that even the gunshots sounded better, and everything overall with the visual presentation, with the flashings of the muzzles when they're firing and the flashing of the police officers' lights on their cars, and overall, this 4K did look just so much better. Now, as I briefly mentioned, this does have English DTS HD Master Audio on 5.1. It does have that same audio mix, but in German as well. It does have subtitles. Those are only in German though. But they are not burned in. There's no burned in of anything German whatsoever. This is the entire English movie release. Nothing's burned in, all in English, same English titles, English end credits, no burned in subtitles whatsoever, and you choose between English audio and German audio. There was no audio lags, audio issues whatsoever. It played seamlessly just like the US Blu-ray version did, with no issues whatsoever. Now, showing you the case real quick. It comes here where it says 21 Bridges. It's all in English on the front. It says Chadwick, Boseman, Sienna Miller. Goes to the side here, all in English, 21 Bridges. And then on the back it talks about it, that it comes with 2 discs, talks about the specs on it. And it does have a bunch of special features on it. It has the audio commentary by the director and the writer. Then it goes into interviews, behind the scenes with cast and crew, B-roll, deleted scenes, and then extra trailers. Now going inside here, you do get your 2 discs. This is your 4K Ultra HD, all in English, and then you obviously get your Blu-ray disc. And here's what's exciting. Both discs are region free. I tested them on all 6 of my players, as I always do, my region A, my region B, my region C, and none of them had any issues with either disc playing on any of them. You can play all the special features. They're all in English. No audio lags, no issues, nothing's burned in. So the nice thing is, no matter which disc you want to watch, they are both region free, not region locked at all. And that's something that a lot of websites got completely wrong. There was a lot of them out there, and I kind of look after I test everything to see, hey, did people do it right or wrong? Well, as usual, they gave a bunch of misinformation. They said the discs are region locked. They said that the Blu-ray was region locked. Some would say this was region locked. It's not. Neither of them was region locked. They are both region free. There is no region lock coding on the Blu-ray at all. So if you go out there and you read any of that, that's all completely incorrect. As I tested, these are region free. So when you buy this through the link I've put in the description section below, you will get both discs region free. You'll have access to all the special features, all the bonus features, and both copies of the discs for worldwide use. So no matter where you live in the world, you won't have any issues playing either of these discs. And the 4K is a BD66, the Blu-ray is a BD50. So as far as that goes, because of the quick pacing of the movie, there was plenty of room on the actual 4K disc. There was no overcompression. So as I kind of talked about a little bit about the digital release of the 4K of this movie, that's where the digital release had some compression issues on it. There is none of that on this. That is where the image drastically far superior than even the digital versions of this 4K movie. Now, as I touched on, I really did enjoy the movie and think overall it was one of Chadwick Boseman's best performances, and overall I really, really enjoyed it, and think that if they would have made a sequel, this could have been a pretty cool trilogy of his like detective character going through different cases and things like that, because you really do feel like his character gets fleshed out and you want to see more of it at the end. And that's where it is one of those things. It's sad that he passed away because we won't ever get more of this character. But we do get to own this film in the best quality it's ever been released, and that is on 4K Ultra HD in this release. And there is one other little hidden tidbit I wanted to point out about why I liked this film so much. The director of cinematography on this film, basically the director of photography that did all the like lens shots and basically the wide angle chase scenes and the shootouts on this, his name is Paul Cameron. He's done a bunch of other films that I absolutely love. And I'll just name drop a few here real quick. He did Collateral with Tom Cruise. That I absolutely love the cinematography on that. And that film has some really great cinematography as well. He did Man on Fire, and he did The Commuter. And all of those have really great cinematography, chase scenes where the cinematography is really wide angle and really done well. He did that on this as well. Now it does talk about the Russo brothers, who did obviously the Avengers Endgame movies, things like that, are the producers on this. But overall, the Irish director that did this movie did a really great job with this. And yes, the Russo brothers probably did help with producing this, but overall, it's just a great cop movie that has just really been lacking in the last several years. A lot of the times we don't get some of these great cop epics that I really enjoyed in the past about standing up for truth, justice, and doing what's right. If you miss those types of movies where it just has a great characterization, a good story, keeps the pacing great all along, and something you'll want to watch time and time again as time goes on. 21 Bridges is a great movie. Now, for my review score. Because this is an upscaled 2K to 4K and how they did that whole process, it does look good, and for that my review score gets a 9.0. This is one of those better upscaled from 2K to 4K that does look good, holds the natural film grain, and is a worthwhile upgrade over the Blu-ray. So if you own that previous Blu-ray before, I would definitely suggest upgrading to this because this is the best this has ever looked. Regardless of the digital 4K that was released, that doesn't hold a candle to this either because of the compression issues with that, the lower grade quality of the audio, and the compression issues that had as well. 9.0 is a great review score for this release, and I highly recommend picking up this release and watching it. If you haven't seen this movie, this is the best way to experience on your home theater. The HDR10 representation really stands out on it, and the audio mix was really well done on it, especially with the shootouts and everything going around. It did sound really good. Now I will touch on real quick, it is rated R for language and violence. But I will say overall, I thought the violence was very tasteful. It was not done gratuitously in any shape or form. And the language I thought was not too heavy as well. So that really added to my enjoyment of the picture. To each your own, if you like more, you like less, whatever the case is, for me, I thought it was well done. And so overall, I thought the film was really well done and very, very enjoyable film. So keep in mind with a lot of these boutique releases, you will pay a little bit more for them, but that's what makes them so unique and something special in your collection. And that's what this channel is all about as well. I've done hundreds of these hidden and unknown releases from all over the world. If you haven't checked out some of those reviews before, you'll want to go down to my channel and check out some of those. I've done dozens of these big ones over the years, like Rollerball on 4K Ultra HD, the original James Caan movie. That one was a really nice 4K Ultra HD release. I've done No Way Out, which was a wonderful firefighter movie, and that was released on 4K Ultra HD, and a lot of people didn't know about that, and that's a really good firefighter movie, true story. If you haven't checked out that review, that's available on the channel. So there's dozens of these hidden and unknown titles on 4K Ultra HD and Blu-ray that I've reviewed over the years. So if you haven't checked out some of those reviews, go back and check those out on the channel. There's dozens of those for you to dive into and find out about to add to your collection, just like this one. And this one is definitely a worthy one to add to your collection. 9.0 is a great review score. It just couldn't get close to 10 because it's not as gorgeous as what you're gonna have with something that's a full native 4K originally, but it does still have a really worthwhile upgrade over that Blu-ray because of all the things you get in this. Plus, it's completely region free. Let me know in the comment section below if you've seen this movie. If you really enjoyed Chadwick Boseman's performance in this, and if you really enjoyed this movie. I really did. I thought it was a wonderful, just a great action adventure movie that really just harkens back to some of the original cop, good guy versus bad guy movies with a twist in it, and really just gave you a great feeling overall. So make sure to start that conversation in the comment section below. As I said before, I posted the link for this because it's very hard to locate. In the comment section right below is a pinned comment, and then also in the description section below. So if you're going to pick this up, make sure to click through one of those links. It'll take you straight out to buy it. That does help support this YouTube channel just a little bit. So make sure if you're going to pick this up, go down and click through that link. And as I said before, if you enjoy these videos and all this hard work that I put behind these, make sure to go down and give a super thanks. That button is down right below, and you can give any amount you want, and that actually helps to go right back into these videos so I can keep going out and getting this content, testing this, and making this exclusive content and videos for all of you to watch. And the only way I can keep doing this is from the support of all of you. Make sure to give this video a like and a thumbs up for me. Click that subscribe button and that bell notification if you haven't done so already. And I had a fun time with this one today. I hope all of you have a blessed day. And as always, I've always got something new, hidden, and exciting coming out very soon.